We begin with a Fox News alert. A federal judge handing Patriots quarterback Tom Brady a major win in the Deflate controversy, erasing his 4-game suspension and dealing a blow to the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. This is Outnumbered. I'm Sandra Smith, here today. Andrea Tanteros, co-host of Fox and Friends First, Ainsley Earhart, Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor Julie Roginski, and today's hashtag One Lucky Guy, the O'Reilly Factor's Jesse Waters. And he is outnumbered. And in our world, I might add.
Feels pretty good, doesn't it?
Jesse?
How you doing, Julie?
Good. So I saw you in the hallway upstairs. We were all rushing into the elevators.
You were
down
rushing.
The studio. I'm always rushing. And I saw you and I said, what do you think about this whole Brady decision? Your response?
I felt thrilled. Listen, I hate to say
don't get
this.
into it. Save it.
I
Save
hate
it.
to say this. Okay.
You had a one-word response.
Thrilled.
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 Okay, can we begin? The big story of the day, U.S. District Judge Richard Berman saying NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell went too far with Tom Brady's punishment. Brady has insisted all along he played no role in a conspiracy to deflate footballs at last season's AFC Championship game. The judge finding there was no real evidence to contradict that. The move allows Brady to prepare for the season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers 1 week from tonight. But it does not necessarily end the dispute. The league can appeal, and we are waiting to see if that happens. Now, Jesse Waters,
yes.
Why is it that you're so thrilled? You don't think he cheated then?
I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I was on this couch just a few months back, and I said this guy's innocent. And I was mocked, and I was argued with and laughed at.
Wait, this doesn't determine that. I mean, this is the judge's decision.
I just want to take a little credit while I can, that's all. No, honestly, I think the commissioner overreacted, and he screwed up Ray Rice, so he tried to drop the hammer on Brady. They tried to set up a sting operation against the Patriots, and they failed. Listen, the scientists all said the balls can deflate. Brady's balls were fine. They didn't need inflating. They had these guys tampering with witnesses, the NFL did. They hired this hired gun law firm to do the Wells report. These are the same guys that Big Tobacco hires when they want to say tobacco is good for you. So the whole thing was crooked, and it looks like Brady's going to skate, and Roger might need a new job.
You're just defending Brady because you're both shady, and you both like to bend the rules and play fast and loose with him. Isn't that what
they
this is all
said?
about?
There's no evidence. Now, when a judge says there's no evidence,
yes, because he deleted
there's
it.
no evidence.
He's like the Hillary Clinton of football. He deleted all the text.
He threw away his phone. Who doesn't throw away their phone?
Okay, hold on. So
let's be an
he
Eagles
got
fan.
a new
How can you say this and be an
phone.
Eagles fan? I'm so disgusted.
You're an Eagles fan?
with you.
Yeah,
You know what?
and the Pats beat us in the Super Bowl. So that just shows you how uncorruptible I am, because I'm actually defending
Let's
Tom
get a
Brady.
reasonable
Here's the
voice
thing.
in here like Ainsley, please.
Thank you so much, Sandra. All right, the second half of the game, the first half of the game is what's in question here. The second half, the referees, they inflated all of the balls, so everything was normal for the second half, and the Patriots still beat the Colts in that half of the game 28-0. So one of the Colts players came out and said they would have beat us if they had played with hand soap instead of football. So, I mean, they were the clear winners. So it doesn't really matter. However, it is fishy that he threw away his phone. But he's not letting anyone see the text.
Going back, Julie, to the original Wells report that said it is more probable than not that New England Patriots personnel participated in violations of the playing rules and were involved in a deliberate effort to circumvent the rules. So based on that, nothing's going to happen. There's no punishment at all for the team.
There's no punishment. But you know what the most upsetting part about this is? The insufferable New England fans that are now going to be even more insufferable. These people I know, Rachel's in my ear screaming boo at me. And I will give you a great example. Jay, our executive producer, who is a huge Patriots fan, comes prancing in today, basically spiking the ball,
He
dancing
prances in
around.
every day.
I mean, like,
Hey,
you know,
Jay,
this is exhibit
the partially
A.
deflated ball.
Exhibit A, what I'm talking about. These people, I have to go up to Massachusetts this weekend, and I'm so bummed because these people are going to be even more insufferable than they usually are.
Julie, what about Robert Kraft? Does he get his $1 million back? Because, you know, the team was fine, too, and he paid the $1 million.
I guess,
Okay,
right?
so
I guess he
by the
must
way,
be.
Jesse, part of the ruling that came down today from this judge, in the part of the ruling, it reads, quote, that Brady was denied the opportunity to examine and challenge materials that may have led to his suspension. I do think that that is a key part of this, by the way.
Yeah, but so there was a witness from the NFL that Brady was not allowed to cross-examine. Also, they tampered with witnesses, and the crime basically messed with a few footballs. 4-game suspension? That's outrageous. So I think Giselle is happy. I'm happy for Giselle.
You had to bring in Giselle, because that's what it's all about, right?
Listen, I think she's going to be a happy woman tonight.
No, but this points to a bigger accountability problem when you look at all the cheating. I mean, besides Belichick and the history there, you look at Ashley Madison, you look at the story we're about to get into. There is no accountability in America anymore, and I'm surprised the producers have not cut my mic because they are big Pats fans. Okay, I'm going to ad-lib here. From Shady Brady to the Shady Lady, now I'm going to read. The stunning new turn in Hillary Clinton's email scandal. Her former IT guy, the one who set up Clinton's private server at her Chappaqua mansion, says he will plead the Fifth if he's called to testify before the Benghazi Select Committee next week. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry, live from Washington. Okay, so Ed, one story about deleting evidence right into another. Hit it.
Good to see you, Andrea. I thought you might make that connection. And what's interesting is that the stakes were raised big time here for Hillary Clinton. Obviously, you've seen her polls suffering. You've seen that question of whether she's honest and trustworthy really taking a major hit again and again, on top of that FBI investigation, by the way, a criminal investigation that's happening at the same time that various congressional committees led by Republicans are challenging Hillary Clinton and her aides. Today, Cheryl Mills, for example, her former chief of staff at the State Department, was up there testifying behind closed doors before the special committee on Benghazi, chaired, of course, by Republican Trey Gowdy. That ties back to what's going on here with this former Clinton aide, Brian Pagliano, because he had been called in by Trey Gowdy, who's threatening a subpoena to compel him to testify, as well as 2 other committees, including one chaired by Republican Chuck Grassley in the Senate. Grassley's staff telling us, quote, Mr. Pagliano's legal counsel told the committee yesterday that he would plead the Fifth to any and all questions if he were compelled to testify. Now, Democrats on that Benghazi committee, led by Congressman Elijah Cummings, are saying they understand why he did this because it's all about politics in their eyes. Cummings saying, quote, although multiple legal experts agree there's no evidence of criminal activity, it is certainly understandable that this witness's attorneys advised him to assert his Fifth Amendment rights, especially given the onslaught of wild and unsubstantiated accusations by Republican presidential candidates, members of Congress, and others based on false leaks about the investigation. That the Democratic side. Interesting, though, it's going to be harder to make that case that this is about partisanship when you not only have congressional committees led by Republicans going after Hillary Clinton and her aides, but you also have this a separate but related FBI criminal investigation of the security of that server and what went down. And by the way, in addition to those staffers today and tomorrow who are going behind closed doors to testify before the Benghazi committee, you still have Hillary Clinton coming in late October to testify, this time in public, about what really happened. There's a lot still coming down the pike here, guys.
All right, Ed, thank you.
Good to see you.
Jesse, I think this points to a bigger Democratic cover-up. I mean, as Ed pointed out, you listen to the Democrats on this committee. They're saying witch hunt, vast right-wing conspiracy. They're throwing sand in the mainstream media's eyes defending this. I think more people are going to plead the Fifth, and I think if Republicans were smart, they would demand a grand jury. They would start to go after the White House because there's no way President Obama and his team didn't know about the server. This is a slow-walked investigation by the FBI like every other scandal, and they need to open it up and make it administration-wide.
You're right. I think the cover-up is worse than the crime. I think Bill Clinton might have to prepare for some conjugal visits because Hillary might be, rope on a soap pretty soon. This isn't looking good.
I just don't want to think about that.
No, listen, you do not plead the Fifth when it's a partisan scandal. You plead the Fifth when it's a criminal investigation. And her excuse that she didn't send or receive classified information, that would make her the first Secretary of State in U.S. history to never get any classified information or give it out. So that just doesn't fly. She thinks we're stupid. And then she goes on and she says, I had 60,000 emails working for Obama. 30,000 were personal. Well, she's not doing very much work then. So obviously the emails you're seeing sent out right now, these are the ones that she wants us to see. I think the incriminating ones she's deleted, and that's obstruction of justice and destruction of evidence. And then you have, the Russians and the Chinese, of course. They hacked this server. Why do you think they've been running circles around us for the last couple of years? I mean, Hillary's exposing all of our secrets. She's like Edward Snowden in a pantsuit.
Yeah. Sandra, she's not just some rogue actor. I mean, she is part of an administration that has acted very rogue for years. I mean, it's a lawless administration. This points to a larger modus operandi of this administration, not an outlier.
To have a government worker pleading the fifth and involved in this type of scandal, I don't know, Julie. I don't know how we can continue to take her campaign seriously when she's in the middle of this scandal. I mean, everything that is coming out of this, it looks worse by the day, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm going to forget everything Jesse just said about soap in a rope, but I'm going to forget her for a second.
Please.
Forget her for a second. I actually generally feel bad for this guy. He is a government worker, but he's not some mastermind. And the fact that he's been dragged into this is, to me, uncomfortable for him and horrible for him, because he actually probably...
It doesn't have to be if he has nothing to hide.
Well,
then...
no, it's not. Well, all of us have a constitutional. All of us have a constitutional right.
Everybody on the receiving end of her classified email, she put them in jeopardy. But you know what? She doesn't care, Ainsley. Look, I'm skeptical of most politicians, but she is in a class all her own. To set up a server, a private email operation vulnerable to espionage by foreign governments so she could keep a clean political image to do quid pro quo, she has no soul.
It's not about feeling sorry for anyone. Julie, you're my friend, but I think that's ridiculous. It's not, people are dead here. Look at Benghazi. You have lives that were in jeopardy here. She is putting our national security at risk.
This guy had nothing to do with it.
He did. He works for her. He's in the IT department.
This guy works in the IT department.
So he should cut a deal and sing.
He should
cut a deal and sing.
I mean, come on. This is the problem. You start dragging all these low-level people, and he's going to have millions of dollars in legal fees.
Why is he pleading the fifth? Why doesn't he just be honest and tell us what he knows?
Problem, I assume he doesn't want to talk to a partisan congressional investigation. The way Cheryl Mills, by the way, wanted to do an open hearing, and the Republicans said no, only testify
well, then he
secret.
Can talk to the FBI.
So,
come on, you don't really believe
I
that.
do. Of course
I will
do.
agree with you on this. Forget the low-level people. Focus on the high-level people. President Obama, all the way up to the White House, everyone who knew about this server, Republicans better wake up. A manhunt for the 3 men suspected in the killing of an Illinois police officer is broadening now, as someone who gave detectives hope in their hunt for the suspects, who's now in trouble with the law. Plus, Arby's is apologizing after police say one of their own was refused service because she was a police officer. The growing anti-police sentiment that's sweeping the country and what needs to be done to change that conversation. And right after the show, catch more from the couch on the web. Join us for Outnumbered Overtime. We've got Jesse Waters. So if you have suggestions for Waters World or just, I don't know, wardrobe suggestions, log on to foxnews.com/outnumbered. Click the OT tab. Yeah, you really don't. Tweet us your questions, your comments. Tell us what you want us to talk more about. Sandra's going to log on now.
We like the popped collar.
Thank you.